Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the star line by Kaitlin Phillips, author of the book, The Future of Feeling. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Let's go beyond the mic. How is millennials' lack of traditional communication skills limit their empathy?
Well, I think that the research is still kind of new here, so I won't, step out of my bounds. But from what I can tell and from what I've seen from the research is that the constant use of social media does have an impact on, being able to connect with people at an empathic level. And anecdotally, I think most people would say they've experienced that. I for sure, one of the reasons I decided to write the book was as an old millennial myself, having grown up using social media, I started to notice that my ability to empathize was, kind of difficult. It was getting harder online especially, and that I was experiencing that from others, and that was kind of scary, so I wanted to do some research and look into what might happen next.
How has the increase of social media platforms affected the increase of trolling, public shaming, and doxing, and making it publicly acceptable?
It's just so much easier to do that on social media. There's so many people, a lot of people are probably going to see what you post. On Twitter especially, it's really easy to kind of get people to gang up on someone, and that culture, I actually personally feel like it was worse a few years ago than it is now. I think it might be getting a little bit better, but it definitely does not, contribute to empathic behaviors when you have this compulsion and this kind of community feeling sometimes that you need to, gang up on a person, and just that it's easier to do on social media, which is frightening.
Has people become more sympathetic than empathetic?
Oh, interesting question. I'm not sure in terms of, how people actually feel. I do think that is kind of maybe gets at the way that people express things on social media is maybe not as authentic. So, the expression of sympathy is maybe not always backed up by like an actual empathy. But in some ways, that's kind of understandable if you think about just the bulk of information that you're taking in all the time. If you follow a lot of people on social media, for example, and you're seeing all kinds of good and bad news and different things from them all the time, it can just be overwhelming, to express that. So that's an interesting question. I would not be surprised if there was that correlation.
You can find anything that you want on the internet. You can find 2 + 2 is 4. You can find 2 + 2 is 5. How has the trust level of the internet affected social justice warriors' credibility?
I think that people have always been able to find information to, back up an argument, whatever their argument might be. And that definitely is easier now that we have the internet and, all this information at our fingertips and the ability to amplify things. I do think that, like media literacy and digital literacy is becoming a bigger issue, so that people, it's been documented that humans it's kind of natural to us to be more convinced by things that we already believe, Mm-hmm. So I think that it's definitely important that people are skeptical of, any kind of information they might come across. As a journalist, I encourage people to, find multiple sources for things, and when they're sharing information, be open to people potentially, asking, where did this come from? And, I definitely think that's a growing issue with misinformation online.
How are young people becoming less lonely, yet having less traditional communication skills?
There's some interesting research about how young people who spend a lot of time on social media, in some cases, are more isolated. They're more literally lonely, like they spend more time by themselves, but they don't necessarily feel more lonely because they are connecting with people. There are definitely a lot of ways that technology and social media in particular can help people build community and make connections. And I like to, remind people that technology, including social media, is a tool. And so the way that we use these things definitely, I think, has more impact on us than, just their existence. So some of the research I read found that it wasn't, just the fact of using social media that made people lonely or feel worse in different ways, but it was how they used it. So they found that vague booking, or subtweeting, being really passive-aggressive, was more of a problem for kids who use social media a lot. It's this behavior behavior on social media that's a potential issue and not necessarily just the use of it itself.
Her name is Kaitlin Phillips. She is the author of Building Empathy in a Tech-Obsessed World. Time's running out, so it's time for the Rocking 8. 8 random questions. First thing that comes to your mind, no pressure. Do you drink coffee or tea?
Tea.
Last person that you gave a hug to?
Probably my husband.
What do you listen to when you write?
Nothing.
Favorite thing to bake?
Oh, that's hard. I'm going to say cookies.
Favorite place to write?
My office at home.
What do you do when you get writer's block?
Oh, go for a walk.
Favorite pet growing up?
I had a dog named Sneakers.
Other than Novocaine, what are you the most afraid of?
I don't know. I'm not that afraid of. I'm afraid of everything. So maybe writer's block. Writer's block is scary.
What do you want your readers to get out of this book?
I want readers to ask more questions about the way they use technology and how they want technology to affect them in the future. I want them to be more intentionally thoughtful in questioning about how technology affects their lives.
What's the thing that scares you the most about technology and how it relates to empathy?
I think apathy. I think the fact that a lot of people seem to just kind of assume that things are going to be terrible and we're going to live in a tech dystopia and there's nothing they can do about it. I think that's what's scary to me because, hope is not lost. But if you don't try and if you don't think about it, then it might be.
It's Kaitlin Phillips. Building Empathy in a Tech-Obsessed World is the book, available at a retailer near you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kaitlin.
Thank you.
And that, my friends, is Beyond the Mic.